Hey, Bill in Virginia here, and welcome back. Still been working in the older industrial area on my HO scale layout. So I have what I consider to be the office building pretty well done. I still have to chalk the roof, but it is weathered, painted, detailed up, similar to what I did on the building in the background. A little bit of some difference, a little bit different colors of chalks in use. Not much, because these buildings would have been built at pretty much the same time. If it had been a real industrial area, you would have had these two buildings as probably the first two buildings in the park. This little building that connects to what I'm considering to be the office building was probably the next. And then you'd have had something like this building, and then these two buildings, and then the couple of metal buildings thrown into the mix over the years as things evolved and changed in this area. But let's go on to the other side real quick, take a look at the back side on this one. So looking at it from the back side, and very similar to this one, I did use for the blinds on this one the white paper that covered the acetate. When I cut the acetate, I left those in place so I didn't really scratch up the acetate, and they came out the size of perfect for curtains or pull shades. So those look pretty good. I also find that rapid fuse glue really does not run, nor does it really soak into stuff. So I can apply it, and even though that's thin paper on those shades, it doesn't bleed in, so it sets and it makes it look pretty good. So, all right, let's see what other mischief I can get into here for buildings today. Making some more progress out here. So I've got the office building pretty well done. Maybe a little bit of chalking. Been working on the building that connects to it. And that building, I'm eventually going to connect to this one. What I've done is I have roughly finished the side that's going to be hidden. In fact, I'm going to put styrene strips across here to glue it together with this building once I get there. And this building is going to be the next one that I'm going to start with. So that's going to fit like that with that building. On this side, you can see how it looks. Nice weathered roof. This building's roof, I'm going to use the tar paper roll method that I did on that building. And in fact, I had enough materials left over from that building that I should be able to do that building. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm also going to leave the metal building a little bit distant from the brick building. Before I had it sort of pushed up beside it, but you know what, I like how that looks as an office and entry. I will probably just set this somewhere in this area, and I'll weather it up here fairly soon. A little standalone building, because it's finished on all sides, so that'll work. But I'll show a little more progress once I get this building farther along. One quick tip that works for me when I'm doing chalking on roofs, in particular roofs that are pretty well smooth, like the roofs that are on these buildings. Even though they've got ribs on them, it's still a smooth plastic. If you try to do a lot of chalking just on the plastic, even if it's been painted a little bit, the chalks tend to not stick very well. So what I have found is that once I get the basic painting done, I go in with either a dull coat or the Tamiya flat clear. Then I come back in, and that provides a good base for the chalks to stick as you're dusting the different areas of the roofs. And you can do it on buildings as well. Then I come back in after I'm done chalking, and I give everything a light coat of, again, dull coat or flat clear. That locks the chalks in place, and then you can handle it, and you're not going to mess up your work or your hands. But just a little tip as you're experimenting with chalks and weathering buildings. So I'm making more progress on these two buildings that soon will become one. This one is in pretty good shape. This one I've got the detailed painting done. I've got windows assembled. I've got to kind of trim them. I've made sure that all the window openings have been sized to take the window panes, which I had to scrape most of them. Now what I'm looking at is the joining of the two buildings. And I'm not going to put them together yet, but when I put them together, they're going to sit something like that. On the back building, you can see a window or an old loft door. So I was thinking on how to get rid of that, and I've come up with a solution using a little piece of tin to just kind of make it look like there's a partition or buffer between the two buildings when they join them together and build them. So I'm going to put that in. Also, just another little tip, I was planning on chalking the back of these windows sitting over here, but then I found that if you spray them with that flat clear on the back side, you get a frosted window. So I'm not going to bother painting these or put shades on these particular group of 8 because I planned on putting them on the upper floor windows on this side of the building. So I'm going to put these things in and put it together. I will do the roof before I do final assembly on these, and I still have the cupola I've got to paint yet. But getting closer with this one. So let's see how it looks here in a few minutes when I get a little farther along. So I'm a little farther along with those two buildings. I did put the corrugated metal in that I showed in the last segment. I have painted it, I've dull coated it, I've chalked it. I've also added a couple of small strips of strip styrene to the small building just up near where it adjoins the other building, and that's good enough. I'm not going to worry about making that little joint any better. Once I get the buildings glued together and I get a few other details on that I want, this gap is going to close between the two buildings, at least with some piping for sprinkler systems, and maybe something up on the roof or some detail. Again, just something to pull the eye away. I'm also contemplating not putting that metal building back in that was right here. I got thinking about it, and I would like to see into the factory complex a little bit more. Plus, I don't have any place for anybody to park. Outside material storage, there's no place for that. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave that building off and leave this area opened up. Once I get this building done and I get some of the other stuff done, I'll kind of make an ultimate decision on it. This one here, I'm gonna fix up a little bit more and leave. I gotta put a support in here. The metal one that was with it broke off a long time ago. I got this for like $5 at a hobby shop. It's an old sawmill. There was some conveyors with it. Looking through a Woodland Scenics kit that I bought offline for trees a while back, I found an interior sawmill kit. The table saw, the belts, the conveyors that somebody had bought and put in that box. And I got that. So I'm going to use that to kind of add some details on the inside of this building. So just a little interest. But that'll be coming up when I get to there. Still a little bit more to do. So next segment will show this building pretty much done. Windows I'll get in. I'll get the new roof on and get that weathered. And we'll put it in place and see how it looks for this particular scene. So back at the bench and putting the roof on this particular building. And I ran out of materials already. I thought I had a lot more of the roofing material, but apparently not, because I should have a lot of it still to go on that long building, because I can remember it coming with that kit, but apparently I have mislaid a sizable quantity of the rolled roofing. Oh well, as modelers, we always come up with solutions. So what I've done is I've taken a shopping bag and cut a piece off, and it's really almost the exact same stuff. The thickness is about the same, so it's brown paper bag is really what it is. So I measured the width of this piece, which still has some of the lines on it, although you can't really see it from there. And I came in on it and I marked the cut lines so that I end up with roofing that is basically that wide. What I'll do is tomorrow, when it's sunny, I will go outside and I will spray paint the back of this with the same black and let it dry, cut it into strips after a little while, go back over and do this side of the roof. Doing it the same way I did the other. I'm using contact cement, putting it on about an inch or so at a time, building that up, and then working my way up the roof. I've got a little bit of material that the cupola will sit over so that my roof looks finished. I went just a hair inside of it. Once I get that done, I get that glued on and then weathered the roof. And it should look pretty good. So we'll see how it looks. I should be able to wrap this up tomorrow and have it tied together with the other building and on the layout. So let's take a look at it here in a little bit as I get a little farther along. These three buildings in the center of my industrial complex are basically completed. So I got the long building wrapped up just a little bit ago. Finished up the roof, finished up detail weathering on it. Same basic method, chalks on the roof after I'd painted the roof grimy black. Some chalks on the building in areas to show some weathering, different colors of grays and blacks, and a little bit of rust here and there. So this looks pretty good. I still am waiting on some piping kits to come in so that I can put some pipes to hide that joint and that little seam that's right in the middle of the building. Sprinkler risers, old-time pipes, different things coming in, so it'll look all right. So let's kind of cross over here. Excuse my shadow as I cut in front of one of my light sources. Track side on this area. Same thing I was just talking about, where the buildings meet up. I will have a pipe or pipes hiding that particular seam. Docks are weathered, doors are weathered, roof is weathered. Combination of window shades and then frosting the glass using the Tamiya clear flat, which gives it actually like a bathroom glass kind of look. Still kind of see through it a little bit, but it certainly looks like old weathered glass. A little bit farther from this angle here, I am going to leave that metal building out. Decided I'm just going to open this area up so that I've got vehicle parking, some drums, barrels, maybe some utility poles, a few other odds and ends that I can see from the track side looking in, rather than just having buildings block my view into the center. So I've got some opportunities here. So it's time to go on to the next building. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm not sure which one yet, the Walthers Freight Depot. Maybe take care of that one next, or jump over to the really long building there. That one will take some time. Both of them are actually going to take time. There's lots of stuff to do on them. Not sure yet, but I'll figure it out. Right now, let's do a little switching here and run some freight cars in front of these nice buildings and see how it looks from track level. wrap it up for this video. I will see what mischief I can get into here shortly with one of the other buildings. Oh, and just as an FYI, I think this is week 4 since I put the NOAX IDA special down on these tracks. And it's actually the first time I've run trains in 3 weeks. And smooth operation, no stalls, no hesitations, worked pretty darn good. So again, I'm continuing to be happy with that product. So, all right, I think I'm gonna do the Walthers building next. That just needs really good paint job. So anyway, we'll see what I can do with that one. Thanks for watching and keep having fun with your layouts.